you mind a few pictures? Shoot away. I like your bumper stickers. I do. Well, I'm a staunch conservative, but this year, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you either.
I like this one I like.
There's no way I could vote for Hillary, and there's no way I could vote for Trump. So, you know,
I'm confused.
Yeah.
I like
that one. A friend of mine.
Yeah.
I think he created that bumper sticker. Burn, baby, burn.
Yeah.
I think he did that in honor of what we're doing.
That's
Anyone
perfect.
else is just a bunch.
Yeah, it's an awful lot of crap.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. It went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burned, burned, burned. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. It went down, 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 and the flames went higher, and it burned, burned, burned.
So,
Take one under the hood.
all right, I will.
Yeah.
Now, you
That's
said,
an important part.
oh, it's all pretty important. I know you said you were the one that was against 4.3 V6s, right? Because they're interference engine? Is that true?
No, not necessarily. We were actually 4.3.
Okay. Well, I know I got a 4.3 in that van over there, the Astro van. It's an awesome engine. Turn it down. High tech.
And so when I turn that off, I turn off both the injector and the fuel pump. I couldn't remember what the second switch was for.
Yeah, that one, I just know.
I've done so many of them over the years. The best one that I had was a 97 Cavalier. OBD2, 2.2 liter.
What's in this one?
Yeah, but this is a different engine. This one's it's got like a dual the timing chain on it is a dual chain, and it might be an interference. Well, the other one was an interference engine too. So this might have a double set of valves in it. I really don't know. It runs good, but I just turn the fuel pump off in this one. It doesn't suck any gas. Whereas in the Cavalier, it had a real convenient setup. They had the same fuse for the fuel pump and the injector. So all you just wired up one switch for both. Turn them both off. That was pretty neat. And that was about the best running car I ever had. And then my wife needed to have some work on her Grand Prix or Grand Am or whatever the hell. It's some Pontiac thing she bought. And it was like a composite of 4 different cars. And she had to have something fixed in it. And so she used the Cavalier for 3 days. And that time she was off the transmission.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
She said it was my car. I said, well, I've been driving it on wood for the last year or so. You're better, you know.
Come on.
Put thousands of miles on it on wood. Wood's real gentle on an engine, you know. So it's just like, you know, 3 days, man.
3 days.
3 days.
Off of it and blew the transmission out of it. And I tried to fix the tranny, you know. I took the pan off it and drained all the stuff out. Liquid all the metal filings. There is a gutter in it up here. Wayne runs condensate tubes and has a lower gutter, I believe, and an upper gutter. And this has just got one gutter in it. And this is the collection tank for the nasty stuff. And it being a trailer, you know, it requires all kinds of bracing, you know, so things don't shake around and all that. I just clean it out through the 1.25 inch. It's made out of water tanks. I can't remember whether I've got 6 nozzles or 8 nozzles in it. You know, I think the last one I built had 10 nozzles. So I can't really remember. So sorry about that. I usually bring a double rotor thing with me when I come, so I can show it off, show and tell. But at any rate, this is one of the nozzles, and I light through there usually. Although I've adopted Wayne's technique of lighting through the top, you know, and that seems to work better. So I don't always light through there anymore. I have a whole water tank in there. Now let's see, how in the heck I cut it. I cut the top off another tank, and I have a tube on the inside. And so what happens is the gas goes straight down through that tube and comes up the side of the outside tank, and heats the metal there. And then I have the shroud on here, and the air that goes into the nozzles comes up through the shroud. That's my heat exchanger. And so at any rate, you know, if you look at it, you can see that I had to enlarge the outer tank, and that's why there's a piece of metal right here. It runs the full length of the thing. So if I have to dismantle this thing, I can dismantle it. And I just got a strap holding it together here, and I just take that off, and I can just peel it apart, if I have to. And on the top, I have a piece of copper tubing. It's 1/2 inch copper tubing, water tubing. It's bent around, and I just tack brazed it in place, and then formed everything around that. And the gas comes out up here after it's gone down through the tube and up the side, and heat's been recaptured and fed back into the nozzles, and the gas comes out here and goes to this cyclone on the other side. This cyclone was actually I found that in a garbage dump, and I didn't know what in the heck it was, but I recognized it as a cyclone, so I just grabbed it, and it turns out that this is a grain vacuum. They use it as a grain vacuum. It was missing the top. I had to make a top for it, and then I just run up from that, poof, and through the tubing to the cooler. The cooler has a fan on it in case it gets stuck in traffic in Chicago. I'll turn the fan on there. And if I'm stuck in traffic, that'll keep air going through the cooler. And then when I'm driving down the highway, that fan runs in the wind. It works like a windmill. And I have a diode down here, and it feeds juice back into the battery. I have a 12-volt battery down here. So at any rate, I clean out the cyclone with a coffee can, just a coffee can in the bottom, and this is just a hay filter, pretty typical. It's just full of hay. I forget which direction it runs it on this one, because I just built another one, and I just duct tape the top. And they put aluminum tape over the duct tape so the sun doesn't hit it and break down the duct tape. You can see what happens with duct tape in the sun. It just turns to garbage, you know. And that's about it. And then it runs through the tube underneath the truck. Cleaner. I just have a little throttle valve right here, and a very important thing. This is a blowout valve here. Every once in a while, you hit a railroad track, or and one of the things in the back will get an air leak in it or something like that, and there's air that'll come through with the gas, and it'll explode in the pipes. So I have this blowout valve here. Just pops off, and it's got a leather seal on it that just sets itself right back down. And again, once again, I say this is an OBD. This is an OBD2 truck. Here's the computer right here. And it adjusts everything automatically. I don't have to adjust timing. I don't have to mess with anything. I just start it up. This is an important feature here. Right here, you see the nichrome wire? That's my dribble circuit. Like if I'm stuck in traffic with a lot of people, can you do that? Or you want me to open the door?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, all right. So at any rate, I keep everything locked. But that's a piece of nichrome wire, and it's hard to get that stuff these days. Because, they used to use them in electric ovens and whatnot. At any rate, so I have a switch to bypass that. Right now I have the fuel pump turned on, but I can turn the fuel pump off, and I have an option to use the nichrome, and it drops the fuel pump voltage to about 4 volts or so, and I think you guys are doing about the same thing with your light switches, and it's just kind of automatic. It's like I'm sitting at a traffic light, and I got 6 people behind me, and I'm sitting there going, wham, trying to keep the thing running, and then I take off, and I just dribble a little bit of gasoline in it, and once it starts running right again, then I just turn it off. And that's about it, I think that's pretty simple. This is one of the simplest vehicles. I wish I had my 97 Cavalier here, because that was the best running wood gas car I ever had. And it was basically the same as, everything that's in here came out of the 97 pretty much. And I just put it in here, And I'm feeding it with 2-inch, and I always thought I needed 3-inch. I can go down the road 65, 70 miles an hour in this thing, 2-inch. And so, pulling the trailer. So, I've got about, on the trailer itself, I probably have 4,000 or 5,000. And this car here with the trailer, probably 2 trips to Argos, and 1,000 miles around my neighborhood. So it's about 700, 1,400, maybe 3,000 miles or something with this setup. And that trailer has been to Argos behind my black truck also. Running a 4.3 liter. So, it's done well. And I guess I've got a thermocouple up in here, just so you guys know how I can I've got my bag gauge here that I can see through the rearview mirror. And then the thermocouple runs up into about here somewhere. And I usually like to seat it about 160 degrees Fahrenheit, right there. So, so I'm getting a lot of heat recovery, in the process, and And I don't know if I've got any holes in this cooler, man. This is made out of old well pipe. You know, just take a look at that. How corroded it is. I had to braze a lot of holes in it before I put it on this radiator. You know, that came out of a well. You know, out of a well. So at any rate, condensate tanks down below, the real condensate tank, and I do the same thing. You know, I pull over on the side of the road. I just go, just let her go. I don't wait for it to gurgle, and I guess that's about it. This piece of hose, I got to give Ted Carbone credit for that one, from New Jersey. He gave that to me in Kansas, and I've been using it ever since. And it's been on several gasifiers, you know, and he could never get his truck running right, and he just finally gave up, and you know, and he just gave up. To the hell with it. So I used to keep a bilge blower right in here. You know, I left it in the system all the time, and you know, for starting it, and I went through 2 or 3 of them. You know, they don't like being in the system all the time, so I have a blower. It's buried in the back here, you know, for starting it. You know, and I just take the pipe off. I try to take the pipe off. If I can wiggle it enough, there we go. I take the pipe off. I do have a stainless steel screen in here. That's a fire arrestor. You know, and also, you know, in case something comes out of the hay filter. You know, so if it backfires, I've got a fire arrestor there. So you know, I got the pop valve up front, fire arrestor, and if you know, if a bunch of hay comes out of the hay filter, you know, and winds up down there, it doesn't, you know, get to the engine. So, can I say anything else? Any questions or? You know?
How many years you been at this?
Well, I built my first one in the 70s. You know, and I started again around when we invaded Iraq the first time. I just got pissed off, and actually, what really pissed me off was Katrina. You know, here we are at 9/11. You know, and here we are invading other countries because 3,000 people got killed at the towers, and my nephew was working at the towers that day, and survived, and you know, and there were 3,000 bodies floating around there in Louisiana. You know, just because they were half black, you know, they didn't count. You know, and so I just was pissed off and said I'm going to do it again. And my wife thought I was nuts until I got the first one running. I didn't have any designs or nothing. You know, I just built. I used like an 8-inch pipe and a 55-gallon drum, and you know, did a downdraft, and you know, and that baby snorted. It really snorted, man. I went down the road faster than hell, and it didn't tar up anything either. Yeah, it was a real clean burner. And then I did the Chevy, the '66 Chevy. That was a good design. That might still exist. You know, it's called the 14-inch project. You know, but my websites are all gone. You know, they just
283.
I gotta think for a second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
a 283. Yeah, V8.
Yahoo would guess.
Huh? Everyone would guess. And I had that all built. Somebody was telling me they wanted to build one right on the back of their vehicle. And I used I had a couple of motorcycle hooks, and they fit right on the bumper. And then I found a rack, somebody's deer hunting rack. All right, I'll shut up. On to the next one.